Minimalism is about defining and getting really clear as to what is important, what is not important, and being relatively ruthless with yourself to prioritize what's important. Hey, and welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and welcome to my channel if you are new here. I'm Pam Carey, and here we discuss all things self-improvement, mind and body. Today, we're going to be discussing minimalism. It's a topic that is pretty near and dear to my heart, so I'm very excited to jump in with this today. We're going to be discussing the definition of it because I think a lot of people misunderstand what it is. We're going to get into its essence of what it means. We're going to be discussing all the different areas of your life that this touches and applies to, because it is not just about belongings, it is about so much more. It can be a philosophy you can apply to your entire life. We're also going to discuss, as we always do, ways to apply it, strategies, and then finally we'll kind of get into some common misconceptions. It's not going to be in a strict order, but those are going to be the things we discuss in this video. So first, we're going to get in with a definition. It's by Newport on an interview he did on impact theory, which I'll link below. It was around minute 27. And he defines minimalism as, well, first he notes that it is an ancient idea. It is not new. And the idea is that you focus on the things that are really valuable to the exclusion of things that are much less valuable. So this can apply to, I'm gonna look at my list for this because I did think about this before the video. It's how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, your relationships, your digital technology, like for example, what kind of apps you have, how many apps do you have on your phone. It can apply to your work, not just your workspace and how clean that is or how many or few belongings you have there, but also maybe how many clients you take on, how much work do you take on. Are you the kind of person that always has 10 projects up in the air, or do you prefer to do 2 or 3 things really well? Not all of that, I understand, is within people's control at work, but if you do have some control over that. The food you eat, what you're putting into your body, of course your home space, and so much more. So as you can see, minimalism is about defining and getting really clear as to what is important, what is not important, and being relatively ruthless with yourself to prioritize what's important. When that comes to your time, that means that we're spending our time on what matters, what's going to make the biggest impact, what's going to help our lives or bring joy or help others, or it just has purpose and intention behind it, versus filling our time with things that don't matter as much. When that comes to what we put in our body, we're really prioritizing what's going to have the impact we want. It just means that we would rather have less, but have more of what matters greatly to us. And I think it's so clear and obvious when it comes to things. You walk in somebody's house and you can tell if they identify by this philosophy with their things or not. With other things, it's a little bit harder to tell, and we're a very materialistic society. So I think that to go counter to that culture, to want to have less, to not buy into consumerism, does sort of set you apart. I think that's why minimalism has become so widely associated with just belongings, even though to me personally, it applies to everything in my life. The next point I want to make is that it is an idea or a value or something you aim for. It's not a destination. It's not like you go through everything in your home and then you have this minimalist home and then you're done. No, things have a way of entering your home, as you may have noticed if you've done some sort of purge of your belongings, then all of a sudden a year later you feel like there's clutter again. So you have to be very strict about what you allow in. It is a process, and you have to continually realign with this mindset. So it is a process, especially in our world that wants more. If you want less, you have to continually realign with this and make it something that you bring with you, a mindset that you have with you at all times, if it's something that matters to you. And the reason why I also say there's no strict definition that it's an aim or a value is because it's going to look very different person to person. Meaning, one of my good friends, she is a minimalist when it comes to her clothes. I respect it so much because she has very few items, but they're all very quality. She might have just a few pairs of shoes, but they're all shoes she loves. They're comfortable, they look great, they her style, they really fit her, and I respect that. So she is a minimalist in that regard. I am a minimalist more so when it comes to my time. So everyone might have different areas that they apply this to or that come more naturally to them, but I think that people that do identify as a minimalist, it does encapsulate these different areas. The last reason why I say that it is something you aspire towards or a value as opposed to a destination is, as you may see, I have a lot of books back there. You can't even see most of them. I have a ton. I have some on the other side of my room, some by my bed. And someone might look at that and say, well, you're not a minimalist. You have a ton of books. And a true minimalist would only have what sparks joy, or maybe 5 books or something like that. But I think it's something that, yeah, you know, I should go through more of my books, and maybe I should get rid of some or donate some. But I think that we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people or where they are in their journey in any form of improvement we're going towards or any value we have. So I think that this, just like any other, I don't think we need to expect it to look one way. There's a sort of ideal. We expect this clean white room with just a coffee cup on the table, and then that's it, and that's a minimalist. Maybe they have one piece of artwork on the opposite wall, but no, it can look however it looks. For you, if this is something that matters to you, then you can identify with that term and you can do things to better your life with that ideal in mind. To make this applicable this week, if you want to be the kind of person who focuses on what brings you value to the exclusion of what does not bring you as much value, if we're going with Cal's definition from earlier, I want you to actively think as you walk throughout your room a few times, or your living room, or any, you know, kitchen, anywhere, and instead of doing this very strict thing where you purge all your belongings and then maybe there's that backlash effect where more stuff comes in, just really take it in. Ask yourself when the last time you used it was and why you're hanging on to it if it's something that you don't use. Is it because it has an emotional pull? Is it because you think you'll use it one day when you become some other kind of person? Is it because you think that you should keep it because it would be wasteful to get rid of it when really maybe you could donate it, or, you know, recycle it, or do something that is still not being as wasteful? You know, dig to the why of why you hold on to certain things. Of course, here we are going back to that material, but this is just one way to make it applicable. I am going to be doing future videos on this topic. This was more of just an intro to this topic, helping people understand how this philosophy is incorporated. And then I do want to start getting deeper into certain topics. So you'll start seeing more series, more part 2s, more deep dives, things like that as I grow on this channel, and hopefully you guys stick along for the ride with me. I'll see you all next week.